Hi, my name is Maya, and this is the story I never thought would belong to me. A story I carried quietly in my chest for years, like a bruise that refuses to fade, soft on the outside, but aching deep underneath. When I married Jason, I wasn't looking for a perfect life. I just wanted a partner to walk beside me, someone who would hold my hand when things were hard and smile with me when things were easy. In the beginning, he was exactly that man, soft-spoken, hopeful, and gentle in a way that made me believe the world was still kind. We built our life in a small rented house with cracked floors and noisy walls, the kind of place where love had to grow stronger than comfort. We didn't have much, but somehow we always had enough. A little rice, a little laughter, and 1,000 dreams we whispered to each other at night. When our first child was born, Jason cried harder than I did. When our second came, he swore he'd work twice as hard. When the third arrived, he kissed my forehead and said, "Maya, I'll give you everything you deserve." I believed him. Maybe because I wanted to. Maybe because love makes us hear promises louder than truths. But life has a way of testing the softness inside you. The bills piled up, the rent increased, our groceries felt smaller each week. I tightened the budget, stretched meals, and stitched clothes late into the night. Jason grew quieter, lost in thoughts he didn't share with me. Sometimes he stared at the children with a sadness I couldn't understand. One morning, he sat on the edge of our bed with a look I had never seen before. He said he wanted to go abroad. He said he could earn more there in a month than he made here in a year. He said it was the only way to save our family. His voice sounded desperate and hopeful at the same time. I didn't want him to go. The thought of raising 3 children alone terrified me. But his eyes held a kind of determination I couldn't fight. So I agreed, convincing myself it was temporary, that the distance would hurt, but the future would heal it. To pay for his travel, we borrowed money from relatives. I sold the gold bangles my mother gave me on my wedding day. Jason promised he'd replace them with something better. I held on to that promise like it was air. The day he left, the children clung to his legs. He hugged them tightly and said he'd be home soon. He kissed me once, quickly, and boarded the bus. I watched the vehicle disappear in a cloud of dust, never knowing that it was the last time I'd feel him that close. The first few weeks were filled with regular calls. He asked about the children, about food, about bills. He told me not to worry, that everything would fall into place. But months passed, and the calls grew shorter, then less frequent, then almost non-existent. He stopped saying, "I miss you." He started saying, "I'm tired." Then he stopped saying anything at all. The first month, no money came. The second month, nothing still. The third month, he said his job was unstable. I believed every excuse, because belief was easier than fear. I woke up before sunrise and worked until midnight. I washed clothes for neighbors, cooked food for families nearby, and cleaned houses while carrying my youngest child on my hip. The children learned too early what it meant to live without a father. One evening, my oldest looked at me and asked, "Mama, did Baba forget us?" The question cracked something inside me, but I forced a smile and said, "No, baby, he's working hard for us." Inside, I wasn't so sure. A full year passed. And then, one random afternoon, Jason walked through the door. No warning, no call, just walked in, as if he had stepped out for an hour, not a year. The children ran to him with pure joy, their little hearts ready to forgive everything. But Jason didn't kneel to pick them up. He barely touched them. He didn't ask how they were. He didn't even look at them the way a father looks at his kids. Something cold lived in his eyes, a distance I couldn't reach. He sat down, opened a folder, and slid papers toward me. He said he needed signatures to update his documents abroad. His tone was flat, businesslike, as if I were a stranger completing a transaction. When I picked up the papers, a photograph slipped out. A woman, a baby. Jason smiling the way he used to smile with me. My heartbeat staggered, but I said nothing. Silence became armor. That night, when he slept, I went through the documents. I found proof that he had been living with her for months. Proof that the baby was his. Proof that he had used my loans, my sacrifices, to build a new life somewhere else. But what hurt more than betrayal was the realization that he hadn't come home for us. He had come to use me one last time. The next morning, I took everything to a lawyer. He listened to my story, looked at the papers, and said quietly, "Maya, you can protect yourself. You can protect your children. Let me help you." For the first time in a year, I felt a seed of strength growing inside me. 2 days later, when Jason came to check on the signatures, I looked at him calmly and said, "I took the papers to a lawyer." His face drained of color. He asked if I had lost my mind. He shouted. He cursed. He blamed me for everything that had gone wrong in his life. I stood still. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. He had already taken enough from me. He wasn't taking my dignity, too. Moments later, the authorities arrived with legal notices. Jason tried to deny everything, but the documents were undeniable. He couldn't take the house. He couldn't take the land. He couldn't take the children. He couldn't take a single penny from me ever again. And he now owed child support every month without fail. He stormed out of the house with nothing but rage in his eyes. The children watched him leave, confusion clouding their little faces. But I held them close and whispered, "It's all right. We're safe now." In the weeks that followed, peace began returning in small, gentle waves. The children laughed more. The nights felt a little less heavy. The house finally felt like home again. Not because Jason was part of it, but because he wasn't. People say heartbreak destroys you. Maybe it does. But sometimes it also rebuilds you. I learned how strong I was when I had nothing but myself. I learned how brave I was when no one came to save me. I learned that a woman doesn't break when a man leaves. She breaks only when she stops believing in herself. I won't stop. Not now. Not ever. Thank you for staying with me through my story. If it touched your heart even a little, like the video, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. Your support means more than you know, and it helps me share more stories like this.